Hi, this is On the Brink, and I'm Rosemary Armeo. I met Mokhtar Alibrahim about 7 years ago. I had just been shipped off by my employer to Jordan, to Amman, Jordan. I was feeling very sorry for myself because I was far away from home, didn't know the language, didn't know the people, didn't know what was going to go on. I felt really disoriented. And then Mokhtar came into my life. He is now like a fourth son to me. He also knew about being far away from home and all alone. He is Syrian. He had left his country, had left Damascus, and we began working together, which we did for several years, and we've remained friends since. And now Syria, of course, is very much in the news. You are one of 14 million Syrians who were displaced by horrible war, continuing war in Damascus. And I want you to tell us about that. That's why we're here today. Thank you for doing this, Mokhtar.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rosie. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's truly an honor to be with you here on the brink. Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
so let's begin. I know this story, but my listeners do not. Tell us about the day you had to leave Damascus. What went into that decision, what it was like, how it
yeah,
came about.
it was the hardest day maybe in my life because in 2016 I finished my master's degree and I had to go outside to go to the compulsory military service or to go outside the country. So I had no choice but to travel abroad because I didn't want to involve in Bashar al-Assad army. And that's what happened. The first stop was in Lebanon for a couple of months, but then to Jordan, where I had the opportunity to gain the experience that would be added to my field work in Syria.
Mhm.
So, working with many professional colleagues, with you, Rosie, with the other professional colleagues, Musab and Hamad, and the others, was important professional milestone in my career. So,
What
I
is
would like
amazing?
I would like here
Oh, go
the
ahead.
opportunity to thank you, Rosie, really,
Oh,
that helping me
no.
during that very hard period time. And yeah, this is the
It's
truth.
hard for me to remember how bad things were for you at that time. You're listening to Mokhtar speak English. His native tongue is Arabic. He
Yeah,
learned English to be basically my interpreter in an Arab country. And you're
yeah,
now, after your next stop in exile after Jordan was Germany, and you're
yeah.
pretty fluent in German as well now, right?
Yeah, I hope that because in 2020 I moved to Berlin, and here in Berlin I started my German language learning, and now I am in C1 niveau. And next semester I will start I'm going to start academic study in Freie Universität Berlin, and it
Mm-hmm.
will be in media and communication. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Aside from language skills, he is a gifted journalist, also one of the kindest, nicest people I've ever met.
yeah,
Tell us, Mokhtar, about it. It wasn't just your studies and your career, your hoped for career that you left in 2016. You left family.
yeah. I left my family. I left everything because I hadn't no more than 1 week because somebody said that with this document you have, I studied master in media and communication,
Mm-hmm.
so I could in that time to postpone my military service for 1 year. But after that, they shocked me with the answer, no, you have to go to the military service. So I don't have only 1 week. I had to finish everything. I had to go to military or to travel abroad. So it was very crazy. I had a little baby, Alma. It was 1 year. So my wife also studied in that time medicine. So it's very hard.
You
So
left behind your doctor wife, your
yeah,
baby daughter, your parents.
yeah,
Now, you've not seen your parents since this time in 2016, is that right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you did get your wife out.
Yeah, my wife is here with me, and she passed all the exam that to allow her to work here as a doctor.
Oh,
So
that's great.
Yeah, we are now ready to study, to work after this hard time in here also, because it's, yeah, to start from the zero. It's really from the zero. I don't know
Yes.
any word in German language. And my English not was not before 2016 good. So yeah, beginning after beginning.
I
Yeah.
remember. I remember it was controversial that I wanted you to be my translator, and there were objections. He doesn't know English well enough, but I wanted you to work as a journalist. I figured we could work on the English.
Yeah, we
Um,
worked
we
in very
did.
big story with the Panama Papers,
We
Paradise Papers.
abs-
Yeah, it was amazing.
Absolutely, it was amazing. Now Alma now has a sister. Alma probably doesn't remember much about Damascus, but
That's
her sister knows nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they are here. Alma in the third class. She maybe we can consider the German language as her
Hmm.
mother tongue.
As
So
her mother tongue, right?
yeah,
What is your citizenship status? You and your wife are Syrian.
yeah.
What about your daughters? Are they Syrian as well?
Yeah, but we can't say that because their culture, their language, their everything, their memories here in
Right,
Germany,
right.
they know a little bit about Jordan, but not about Syria. So
Wow.
yeah, and
This,
that's for us. We just have 7 years in exile or 8 years, but another person who left Syria in 2011, it's
mhm,
very difficult,
mhm.
hard question to answer. Their children would come back or not, or will stay here in exile countries. It's not easy to answer here.
I want to ask you about the events of the past few weeks, but let me jump into the future for a minute. Have you all decided what happens now? Will you go back to Syria? Can you go
Yeah.
back to Syria? What
Oh,
happens?
your questions are very hard, Rosie. So the emotional answer is that we had the desire to return to Syria the moment the fall of the regime was
Right.
announced. Yeah. But the rational answer is what we should think about what the role of each Syrian now in contributing to rebuilding our country. So we need at least 500 billion, milliard. I forget this is
Yes.
Deutsch or German. So I will, I will certainly go on a visit, so as soon as possible. But in the long run, on the long term, I
Right.
prepare to finish my academic study here in Germany, uh,
Hmm.
which I will start next semester. And then we will see if I have the chance to
Right.
yeah,
There is concern about what happens in Syria next. The new leader is he's called a terrorist by my government.
yeah, yeah,
And he has fought against the United States, was allied with Al Qaeda, and he
yeah,
says he's all different and reformed now. But the Taliban said that in Afghanistan too, and
yeah,
women in Afghanistan are back in undercover and under all
yeah,
kinds of restrictions. You have daughters and a professional wife, so
yeah,
you've got to
yeah.
be thinking about all of that.
Yeah. I think each country has its private or special conditions. And Syria is not like Afghanistan. And that doesn't mean that Afghanistan is not good, but each country has its, yeah, speciality. And in Syria, after we could this regime who stay 50 years control
Mhm.
this land with dictatorship, we could topple this regime. And of course, we will not be kept silent for this regime, for this
Mhm.
transitional period, if they um, doesn't achieve what they promised the people, because they promised that we have now this 2 3 months, we will uh, make a procedure that help the people to go to the democratic country as
Mhm.
it's not official, but the media spoke about that, and the people are waiting, all of us, and we are very joy about what happened. But at the same time, we will not say that it is 100% is you are okay and you can do what you want. No, of course.
Everything instantly is not going to get better. Um,
Yeah,
Mokhtar is talking about 50 years of rule under the al-Assad, the father, and then Bashir, the son.
Yeah.
And it was a brutal regime.
Yeah.
He gassed people, he bombed people, he destroyed beautiful cities. Aleppo and Homs were just destroyed by the government against their own people. A horrible, horrible time. And yet, Mokhtar, it seemed like it would go on forever. Did you ever think that in 3 weeks, basically, it was all over? The rebels not only were resurrected, but they just swept back into Damascus.
Yeah.
When did you first think, oh my God, this could really happen? We could topple this regime.
Yeah, in fact, let me say that November 27 was a surprise to all Syrians. After despair had crept into our souls, that the regime had returned, Bashar al-Assad regime had returned and had regained power. So despite all the sacrifice, the sacrifice is about 500,000 person. So yeah, at first we considered it is like an adventure from the Free Army that would fail. But the result, that they achieved from toppling the regime are the result of the sacrifice that extend back to 2011.
Right.
Not only in this 11.
Not just that 2 weeks.
That's right. Yeah.
Years and years of sacrifice and work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we consider every person who contributed to exposing the crime of the regime as a hero. Even the journalists who come from outside, who stay inside Syria to cover, who refused to go outside Syria, who prefer to stay with the people who stay inside Syria.
I find myself thinking since November 27th about Marie Colvin, very famous American journalist, worked for British papers, died in Homs. She was there covering the absolute siege of that city, horrible siege by government troops. And they targeted her satellite, her cell phone, and bombed the building, and she died there. She died a hero to the movement. So she's one of the people that you're thinking of. How did you hear about what was going on? You must talk with other Syrians in exile, or was it purely news that you're hearing, wow, they're marching on Aleppo, they're marching again? How did you hear about it? Describe that for us.
Yeah, Rosie, but let me first say that, Marie Colvin and her colleagues, she was great. She has a great place in our hearts as Assyrians. Until now, we say that Marie Colvin and other international journalists who covered inside Syria, they had the great role to make the international community or the media cover in fair way, not in the propaganda of the regime in Russia.
Right. Did not take the Russian view of this. And I'm going to ask you about Austin Tice, but I do want to first hear about how you and other Syrians in exile followed the progress, the amazing fast toppling.
Before 3 or 4 days, I think nobody can't sleep because we still watching what happened in Syria. And after that, when we hear the great news which come in here in our local time, it was 2:30 at the morning. So all the people started to call each other. Some of them go in the street, started to celebrate. It was very amazing, and but until now, the feelings of the joy fill our souls, of the Syrians, not me. But these feelings mixed with sorrow due to the shocking videos of detainees in the prisons of the al-Assad regime. The Syrians know that the extent of the brutality of the regime, and yet the videos were shocking for us.
To see what Mokhtar is talking about is that soon after the government was toppled, rebels, I hate that term, they're not rebels, they're patriots, Syrian patriots, went into the prisons and freed people who have been held for years under horrible conditions. One of the people being searched for, Mokhtar, do you know about this, is Austin Tice. He's an American. He was a Marine and a freelancer. He has been missing in Syria, but believed alive since 2012.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think they'll find him?
Unfortunately, unfortunately, until now, they try to reach for the secret prisons. There are a lot of secret prisons inside Syria. One of them under the building of the TV, the governmental TV. Can you imagine that? There
No.
are, yeah, a secret prison inside under this building. So somebody said that. So we hope that they can, yeah, find this a lot of person, a lot of like in our neighbor countries, from Jordan, from Lebanon,
Right.
from yeah, a lot of people have a prisoner inside Syria, unfortunately.
Right. So you told me that you felt optimistic. This was in the days right after Bashir al-Assad hiked himself off to Russia to get out of harm's way. You told me you were optimistic, but it's not over in Syria. In fact, Israel has been bombing in the days since Bashir left. What do you have predictions? Are you still optimistic?
Yes, of course. I still optimistic because yeah, we have to wait because in a country like America, the transitional power from an elected president to another takes several months. So what about a country like Syria that has lived through a half century dictatorship on the transfer or the power as a result of a revolution, not election.
Right.
So yeah, we have to wait a couple of months. After that, we can say that we will continue our revolution, or we have our revolution succeed and we started rebuilding our country.
Rebuilding the country. Well, in the United States, as you mentioned, we are in a transition from one government to another. And that government is Donald Trump. You know, I'm no fan of his. You heard me screaming about him when I left the United States when he was first elected. He's no friend. He's told us in his tweeting, he has told us Syria is no friend of ours. Don't get involved. Do you see that happening? Israel's certainly involved. This has been a blow. The toppling of al-Assad has been a blow to Iran. It's Turkey is now involved in Syria. Your country is in a terrible location. Everybody's in there.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but today the U.S. forces are present on the Syrian territory in the northeast. So I don't know if President Trump means that he will withdraw the forces or not. Yeah.
Well, it's a question. Those forces, there's less than 1,000 men. They're there basically because of Kurds, and Turkey does not want Kurds established anywhere. So I'm not sure that this is helpful for the Syrians either. It's still, in other words, a mess.
That's right. But in general, Syria is, as you mentioned, is a pivotal and important country in the Middle East. And its stability is in the common interest of all this country, which would be unwise not to support it during the transitional time. So until we get the democratic governmental, and after that we can say and we can talk. But it's
then stand up. Yeah, you're right. That is a good point, and it's interesting to me now that Israel has an interesting relationship with Syria. They do not want Syria used as a conduit for help between Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon. So that's why they're bombing, to keep them out. But it also seems like it would be in their best interest to be friends with Syria too.
Yeah.
Which changes everything. I don't know. I think the next few years are going to be very interesting in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I'm worried about what Trump will do, because of course we know he's friends with Putin.
Yeah, that's right.
And Putin has been a big supporter of al-Assad, including now he has given him exile. The al-Assad family is in Moscow. They're being protected. They're giving asylum. It looks like, just like Donald Trump, he will not be held accountable for years of actually far worse crimes than I can accuse Trump of. And he's going to get away with it. How's that make you feel?
Yeah, a moment, but please. I would come back to the role of
Okay.
Russia. Unfortunately, Russia countries try until today to protect this killer, al-Bashar al-Assad. But in the near future, I think, in my opinion, they will abandon him because he will be a major obstacle between Syria and Russia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And after that, yeah, if they want to restrain the relation between Syria and the next government, elected government, Bashar al-Assad will be
A, a big problem.
of course, yeah. We can't make any relation with country like Russia that until today protect the killer and his family.
Exactly, exactly. It's really interesting. I've talked about Israel dropping bombs on Syria right now, trying to stop the Hezbollah connections. But Americans are out there dropping bombs in the desert too. They're worried about a resurgence of ISIS. And your new leader, your interim leader,
Yeah,
was once affiliated with ISIS. That's to Americans who don't know a lot about the Middle East, except, oh, whoa, scary.
yeah.
That sounds ominous. Can you tell us the real story, the nuance there? Is
Yes,
ISIS going to resurge in Syria?
I can totally understand these worries of the US because certainly ISIS is worrying for the Syrians before America. Yeah, because we are the ones who have been most affected by them, by ISIS.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm optimistic, very optimistic, because Syrians and even the people who supported Bashar al-Assad realize that ISIS is
Oh, we're
an
frozen. Yeah.
Iranian creation and move under the Iranian orders. Yeah, and
Right,
I have the evidence of that. Yeah, so the Iranian regime used ISIS not only in Syria but also in Tehran.
right,
Yeah, during the demonstration in Tehran, they used it to make some explosion there. And now,
mm-hmm.
yeah, after that, after this demonstration stopped, there is no ISIS in Tehran. That is, yeah, a big question. And
So you are saying basically that Syrians don't want ISIS any more than Americans do, and you don't see that coming back.
yeah,
A government that is allied with ISIS is not going to be successful. Okay,
mhm,
that's good news.
of
You
course, yeah,
realize that what has happened in Syria has given huge hope to the Palestinians battling, losing the battle, more like it in Gaza to Israeli aggression. Bazan, who's one of our many mutual Palestinian friends from Jordan days, said that she
yeah.
cried all night when she heard about what was happening in Syria. Is that a fake promise, or should it be giving hope to other Arab people fighting for freedom? What do you think?
I, I think it's a good hint for all Arabs who fighting for freedom because and it's natural for every person to feel happy when a dictator is removed around the world, not only in Arab region, Middle East, or any country. And Bashar al-Assad and before him, Hafiz al-Assad, have always monopolized the Palestinian
Yes.
yeah, the Palestinian card in selfish way and preventing them from managing their negotiation files. Excuse me, I use something, but
You're switching into German. You have too many languages in your head, dear.
they preventing them from negotiation. So and hiding his corruption because Hafez al-Assad try
Right.
always on Bashar hide the corruption by rising false slogans like we want to freedom Palestine, we protect the Palestinians, and like that. When the
Right.
Palestinian, but here in 2008, when the Palestinian Hamas they were in Damascus, and they refused to comply with his demands to kill the Syrians. They were expelled from Syria to Qatar. They
Wow.
said directly, if you will not participate with me with the stop this demonstration, you don't have any place here in Damascus. You have to move directly. And they do that. They did that. They moved to Qatar, but
Mhm.
they didn't participate with this regime
Right.
in
Right.
killing the Syrians. Yeah.
So it's been 8 years at least since you've been gone. You
Yeah.
have not seen your parents. You've not seen your hometown. You're going to go visit hopefully soon.
Mm.
What are you going to do when you go home? What are the things that you most want to do when you enter Damascus for the first time after exile?
Oh, it's a lovely question here because oh, I don't know. I don't know where should I go at first to my family, to my university, my professors who supported us inside Damascus when we was demonstrated against the regime with some colleagues to visit yeah the families of my colleagues who passed away during the war because until now some of their parents talk to us as we are the friends and colleagues for their uh, children. So, but yeah, of course, for my mother, 8 years without seeing her, just in my mobile phone. Uh, yeah, it's very emotional moment. It will be very emotional, sensational moment.
I want to hear about that. Also emotional, Mokhtar, was, and I have pictures I want to share with my listeners. You and your friends and your daughters out on the streets with Syrian flags. Tell us about that.
I will share with you more than this photos. Yeah, of course, because Alma always asked me why we couldn't come back to visit our yeah your father, your mother, why you couldn't.
Mhm.
But I don't find the answer because I can't tell her the full story. It's maybe the language barrier. I explain for her. I ask more question, but she didn't get the point. But in this day, I take Alma and Lara to this demonstrate to these celebrities here in celebration. So they understand the story from the people. They understand that this is Bashar al-Assad, the killer of Bashar al-Assad, and we now are moving to the we hope we move to the democratic country. Our country will be like Germany and like other country that who has democracy, who have freedom of speech and a lot of basic human rights. That was yeah amazing. This is the first time they participate with me with these flags.
Mhm.
That was really very amazing. Until now, the next day, Alma went to the school and told all the her teacher, her colleagues that we have now a new country. I don't.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, she said we now had a new country, a new president that was killer. That was. She told them the full story.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I can't imagine what you have been through, even though I know your story. I've talked to you many times to have to leave, to be afraid to even go back to see your mother, or you would have been arrested and ended up possibly in one of those awful prisons.
Yeah.
And now it all changed overnight. Did you not feel hopeless at any time during those years in exile?
Yeah,
All the time. I remember you. You never foresaw this.
I don't know, but we talk about, yeah, we are talking about 8 years of exile, and therefore one has different feelings depending on the frequency of the news coming from Syria. So, in fact, the glimmer of hope didn't disappear. Always,
Oh, God.
yeah, always, I had the feeling that the sacrifice, 500,000, would not be in vain. So, yeah, but getting rid of an oppressive regime like Bashar al-Assad that has yeah lasted for a half century, yeah, requires patience. We
Mhm.
have to be patient, and we will be patient for this transitional period, but not so long time because
Mhm.
we don't have more energy to be patient. We will see if they, yeah, achieve their promise yeah, to stop uh, this hard time to move us to a new country. Yeah, the
Yeah, there's
first
a
feeling. Yeah, the first feeling I want to tell you this after that, after I hear the new news that I moved from Syrian refugee to a Syrian civil or a Syrian student. No, this very ugly word that the refugees, the refugees, the refugees. After that,
Mhm.
we will not hear it because we have the right now. Everyone can
Mhm.
come back to his country to stay in a tent there, but this is our country.
Oh, I just love this. You know, selfishly, I'm painting this whole story in terms of my own experience, my own country's experience. We are going to enter a very difficult time, I think. We treat refugees and migrants very ugly here. It's going to get worse under Mr. Trump if he keeps his promise. And many of us have gone into a deep depression. Some people are not even listening to the news. I may not get many listeners to this because people are not listening to news, but I see this as a bright spot. Syria was in much worse shape than the United States is going to be. And look at now, the hope and optimism that's possible.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Mokhtar. And I traditionally end my programs with a toast. And
Yeah.
we're doing this actually in the morning, so my toast is with coffee. But I want to say, let's make a toast to peace and to going home. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that my friend Mokhtar can find both of these uh, very basic human needs, peace and going home. But I wish the same for the people of Ukraine and in Gaza. This is a time of year when Christians give lip service to the idea of peace on earth, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's
done,
right.
it's in all the carols, it's on all the Christmas cards, you know. But 2025 is going to be one of those years when the earth sorely needs a rest from killing and bombing.
We
And so
hope.
let's not make peace on earth just a thing we give lip service to this year.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ross.
you, Mokhtar.
Thank you very much.